Hello, BookTube. A couple of quick announcements for you here with appropriate links down below uh, to warn you of the return of trouble. It was smooth sailing for January. You were probably wondering, why do I feel so much more psychically carefree? And the reason was because my side gig, my second gig in talking about books on camera, was in abeyance. Forever and ever, I have, and for years, I've done some version of dealing with the Cedarburg Public Library in Cedarburg, Wisconsin, as their not unacknowledged, unpraised, unnoticed in-house book critic. Uh, and gradually, my producer Jeff and I settled on the books of the week. The CPL Radio's books of the week. The Cedarburg Public Library has a public radio station. And CPL Radio's Books of the Week is a program in which my producer and I talk about one work of current nonfiction, one work of current fiction, and then he picks a bunch of books from his own library. Wildcards of one kind or another. They can be brand new, they don't have to be, and throws them at my face to get reactions. I will have read probably some of them, and that's a resource that most people don't have access to. Most seasoned critics have not read everything, are not reading as widely as I am. I don't know currently of any critic that reads as widely as I do. So the wildcard segment is always fun. And also, the show itself is always fun. I joke about how we are banned by the FCC and the FDA and the EPA, but nevertheless, the show is fun. Any of you who have watched it will be able to attest to that in the comments of this video. And those of you who are new to the channel and have never known about this, maybe only came to this channel in 2025 when I was not doing it, we have resumed Books of the Week, and the new episode has gone up today. I will leave a link down below. Whether or not you're interested in either one of the books that we talk about, whether or not you're interested in any of the wild cards, I can pretty much guarantee one thing about the show, the one thing about the show that everyone says, the one thing about the show that makes people into fans of the show, which is that you will find your mood lightened. You will laugh. We have fun. And this episode was no different. We have fun on the show. It is a fun show. And it's another place online where you can hear me talk about new releases and other books. So I will leave a link down below. Jeff just posted our first resumed show of 2025. So well worth your time to go and see. Feel free to go over there and do all the things that I don't want you to do on this channel. Feel free to go over there and like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment so that it boosts the video's visibility in the algorithm. Maybe share the video on your social media or tell somebody about it. Anything to help the channel, because the CPL Radio's Books of the Week channel is aimed at helping the friends of the library. It's true that it gives Jeff and I a chance to try out our Borscht Belt humor, but it also helps the friends of the library. And any of you who know anything about your local library will know how vital an organization any library's friends group is. Libraries have a real hard time getting along without them. And the same thing is true in Cedarburg. So the friends of the Cedarburg Public Library are terrific. And the show helps them. And also, it's a kind of a chicken and egg type thing. The show helps them. The more popular it gets, the more attention they get, the more support they get. And also, the more support the show gets, the harder it is for the show to be canceled or have the rug pulled out from underneath it or anything like that. You all know, especially if you work in city government, if you can show results, you're probably going to be more or less bulletproof. So any help along those lines matters. The more popular our channel gets, the more metrics of YouTube we have to show to the powers that be to say, this is a popular thing. Kindly don't muck around with it. And along the same lines, the other announcement, of course, is that once we were qualified for it, it was my producer, it was Jeff, that did all of this, but once we were qualified for it, we of course set up a Patreon. again, to help the Friends of the Library. Jeff and I don't see a penny of this money. And we have a handful of people who are actually willing to support us on Patreon. And Jeff pointed out, and I think it's entirely true, that if you're going to do that, usually the way Patreon works, maybe not the Patreon on this channel, but usually the way a Patreon works is if you have people who are going to do you the pleasure of signing up for your Patreon, you give them something for their money, something that people who don't sign up aren't getting. And Jeff and I were a little slow off the block doing that, really, with the regularity that we should last year. But in addition to our new episode, we also have a new patrons-only video about Barnes & Noble, about the bookstore chain the American bookstore chain Barnes & Noble. And that episode was a lot of fun, too, so I want to point that out. I want to let you know that CPL Radio's Books of the Week is back in business. I want to let you know that CPL Radio has a Patreon, and I also want to let the CPL Radio Patreon members know that we have another video, because there was a long trough where we didn't, and they might not notice. So a whole bunch of little CPL Wisconsin-centric announcements for you. Just let you know that my home away from home when it comes to talking about books online is back in business, baby. So I'll wrap this up. I'll leave all the pertinent links, and I'll see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.